Wrapping up our New Faces in New Places series here, guys. We've got QBs, running backs, tight ends. It's a big episode. Strap in. Let's do it. All right. Welcome to the show. This is the Frankly Fantasy Football Podcast. We are your hosts, Frankie and Johnny. Welcome in again, brother. How are you, man?
Doing great, man. Doing great. Ready to talk some new faces, new places, a little bit of quarterbacks, a little bit of running backs, and maybe some tight ends, man.
Every year, the free agency just goes apeshit every year. And this year, it's no exception, man. Yeah. Hopefully you guys all got caught up on our receivers. We had 2 episodes. There were so many damn good receivers in new places. We did 2 episodes of that. So make sure you guys check those out. But let's jump right in here, guys. We're going to start with quarterbacks. Frankie, how do you feel about that?
Love it. Let's do it.
All right, let's go. Our first new face in a new place. Quarterback. It's Sam Darnold, okay? Coming from, Sammy D. Coming from the Vikings, going to the Seattle Seahawks. All right, last year, Sam Darnold finished as the QB8, Frankie. This year, I think he's being a little disrespected, Frank. He's currently the 27th quarterback off the board with an ADP of 191. What's going on there? Talk to me about Sammy D.
Well, I'll tell you what, man. Everybody that watched him last year, I think we can all say he's no longer seeing ghosts. Right? He's no longer seeing ghosts here. He's absolutely throwing them touchdown passes to Jetta, getting Jordan Addison involved, and really led the Vikings to one hell of a season. So now what's going on, John? I mean, he is currently at the Seattle Seahawks. Geno Smith is no longer there. And so he only has really, Sam Howell behind him. And so, John, when we really start looking at, okay, well, what was the deal? What happened? What got him to Seattle? Signed a 3-year, $100.5 million deal. And let me tell you, that is a phenomenal deal for both sides. The reason being, John, for those of you that don't know, they actually front-loaded his contract. So Sam Darnold's going to be making a lot more of his contract on the early end, which is great for Sam Darnold, which is great for the Seattle Seahawks. And I know we're talking 100 million's cheap, but damn is that cheap for a quarterback who was just QB8 last year. And so for me, man, looking at the situation in Seattle, John, dare I say, it's as good as the Vikings. And I know that's crazy, man. And here's why, guys. Jordan Addison on the Vikings, you got your JSN, Jackson Smith and Jigba. You got your Jetta, right? Justin Jefferson, he's that guy. Well, shit, man, not too long ago, we had a triple crown who is Cooper Kupp, right? White Lightning over here coming over, and he is now a Seattle Seahawk. We talked about that on our New Faces, New Places for our receiver episode. And then you layer on MVS, who's going to be doing some cardio. You got Noah Fant out there. And then they also ended up getting They have Kenneth Walker as well as Zach Charbonnet to really lead the rushing attack, man. Dare I say it's even a better rushing attack potentially than that of the Vikings. So for me, looking at him being QB 27 after being QB8, John, I'm all over this, man. I mean, guys, we can wait till that back half. And you're telling me I could take Sam Darnold and maybe a Matt Stafford or somebody? Yeah, that is where I'm going because I think he's being a little bit slept on, man.
Yeah, I mean, he's getting zero respect, obviously, in ADP right now. But, I mean, to look at it, though, when you're looking at all the quarterbacks we've got here, I mean, where do you end up drafting him, though? He's not a guy you're taking. He's not a QB1. He's not a guy you're throwing out there as your QB1. So if we're looking at a super flex situation, is this a guy that you do want as your QB2 or as your super flex? I mean, what do you see the upside? Do you see a floor? Like, explain to me, how would you look at drafting him, if at all?
Yeah, that's a really good question. For me personally, I think that there is a low floor for Sam Darnold still. And I know that's crazy to say, even though in one breath I said, right, he's being a little disrespected from QB8 to QB27. The reason why I'm saying that is because in a Kevin O'Connell offense for the Vikings, it's very QB friendly. So are we going to see that for the Seattle Seahawks, right? And what type of offense are the Seattle Seahawks going to be running with Sam Darnold underneath the helm? Realistically, we could see a very much so a run-first type of offense versus a pass-first type of offense, which was the Vikings and Kevin O'Connell. So to answer your question very bluntly, I am willing to take him as my QB2 in a super flex league with a caveat of I am absolutely positively drafting an additional QB3. There's no question about it because the floor can drop out of Sam Darnold. We have one good season that really outlines here's Sam Darnold. And other than that, he has been atrocious, not just bad, atrocious. I mean, right? We're talking he went to the Panthers, he went to the 49ers, he was drafted by the Jets, right? And then he went to the Vikings. We're talking he was in the same draft class as Baker Mayfield, right? And so when you start thinking about that, it's like, shit, man, he's really been kind of a journeyman already. So what does that floor look like? I actually think it's pretty damn low. I don't think he's a high floor guy, but he also has kind of a weird ceiling in terms of he has top 10 QB ability, which we saw last year. So for me, I'm okay taking Sam Darnold in your back to middle rounds, guys, in a super flex league, because that's where you're going to need to grab him. But if that happens, you have to strategize and get another QB3 just in case that the floor falls out.
Yeah, I agree with that. I don't know. I'm worried about Sam Darnold. I really am, man. I mean, I know he had a reemerging year, and looked really good and ended up as QB8. But, you said the key phrase to me, and it's Kevin O'Connell. He doesn't have Kevin O'Connell. It's a downgraded offensive line, and it's a downgrade in his skill position players. I mean, you look at some of his issues he had last year were accuracy. What fixes accuracy? It's fucking Justin Jefferson.
Yeah,
that's
totally.
What fixes accuracy. So he's not going to quite have that. He's got a young guy with JSN. He's got Cooper Kupp, which I think he's going to lean on heavily.
Definitely.
Veteran to a veteran. When you've got accuracy issues, you're going to look at that guy who's coming out of the slot with the quick outs, the quick slants, that kind of thing. I think Cooper Kupp's going to eat in this offense. So I think Darnold will be fine. But I just think it's everything around him, including the guy in his ear the entire time, is different this year. And I think it is a downgrade from what he had last year. But yeah, I mean, I'm with you. I think it's okay to take him as a super flex, especially if you're going to stack him up with Cooper Kupp or with JSN. But temporary expectations. I don't have super high expectations for Sam Darnold. All right, let's move forward here. Let's go on to another guy. How about the guy who left Seattle? Geno Smith, now with the Raiders. Oh, yeah. This is going to be interesting. It's going to be weird seeing him in that Raiders uniform for sure. Last year, again, really good year. Finishes QB16. Really wasn't bad. Currently going off the board as the QB26. Again, disrespected and nervous a little bit of a veteran going to a new team. ADP of 185. Frankie, what are you feeling about Geno?
Guys, I'm pretty optimistic on Geno. I mean, I feel like this guy has the high floor when we're talking about, in a super flex type of league. Again, let's look at what he did last year. He had 4,320 passing yards, 21 touchdowns, 15 interceptions, and he also ran the ball kind of decently well, 272 rushing yards, and he had 2 rushing touchdowns. And now when you think about the offense that he's in with Pete Carroll, he feels at home. It's warm and cozy. Pete Carroll was the guy that revitalized his career, right? Really kind of took him to that actual starter status in terms of an NFL quarterback caliber player. And so for me, I'm excited, man, to see this because when you start looking at, the weapons that he has, let's be honest with ourselves. It's completely different than what he had at Seattle. I mean, you had DK, you had Tyler Lockett, and then towards the end there, you had JSN. Now you're kind of walking into a Jacoby Myers, which I love. Like Jacoby Myers is an absolute cozy blanket. But then you also have a burner with Trey Tucker. That's going to be interesting to see how he kind of works with him. But then you have Brock Bowers. And then you also just got Ashton Genty. And then you get your Raheem Mostert to back up Genty. So for me, man, this is really fascinating. I'm excited to see how he does. But also, man, I think he just has that safe floor. I don't foresee that floor dropping completely out, bottoming out like it could with Darnold, like what we've seen with Darnold. But for me, man, Geno Smith is a guy, like, I'm not like drooling over him by any means, but certainly a great super flex piece. If you wait to the back half of your draft or middle round, right, wherever those QBs start really kind of spinning out, that's when I'm looking to take Geno Smith. And honestly, I'd probably wait to take Geno Smith, man, over that of Sam Darnold.
Yeah, I mean, Geno Smith, I'm looking at him as a better option than Sam Darnold is in the Superflex. Yeah. I think Geno Smith is really going to be a high-end QB2 because I think you're right. I think his floor is much higher.
Yeah.
But coming from Seattle last year, he was the 4th highest pass rating.
That's incredible.
or fourth highest passes, like the most pass volume in the league, fourth highest there, which is interesting. And he was QB 15, 16. He's not going to have that in the Raiders. He's not going to have that kind of volume. So, I mean, this offense will run through Ashton Genty. No question about it. And then your number one target is going to be a tight end. So that's a little different than what he's used to having in Seattle as well. So, yeah, I think he's going to dip for sure, but I think he's going to be a high-end QB2 with a much safer floor than you saw with Sam Darnold. Yeah.
And John, one quick call out too. When I was talking with talking about Sam Darnold over there, and I kept saying that I was thinking of the head coach. I kept saying Mike McDonald. So that is who the head coach is for Seattle. So I just want to make sure I called that out. But it's going to be fun to see these two, right? It's almost like they're interchangeable a little bit, and I'm excited to really see how they perform.
All right, sounds good. Let's keep going here. Let's go on to a little Russell Wilson action here. Yeah, Russell Wilson. Coming from the Pittsburgh Steelers, now on the New York Football Giants. Very strange going to be seeing him in New York in that jersey, right? Last year with Pittsburgh, up and down year for sure. Shared a little bit with another guy we're going to be talking about here with Justin Fields, but he was the quarterback 26 last year. This year, he's the quarterback 30 going off the board. Assuming he starts.
Guys, I'm staying away. I'm staying away from Russell Wilson, and I'll tell you why. So when we look at what he did last year, he had 2,482 passing yards, 16 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. That's not a bad touchdown-interception ratio by any means. He also had 155 rushing yards, 2 rushing touchdowns. But the issue was he was a little bit banged up. The decision-making certainly was a little bit off. I mean, we saw that when he was trying to get the ball down the field to George Pickens. There was a lot of frustration there. I mean, shit, John. If you remember, they almost went back to Justin Fields, like heading into the playoffs and things of that nature. They were trying to figure out who are they rolling with there. And so when we now look at him off the Steelers and on to the Giants, guys, Giants have, you mentioned Jameis Winston, and they traded up to take Jackson Dart. If you're trading into the first round to get Jackson Dart, it's screaming this dude has an opportunity to play this year. He might not start, probably won't start. But let's say come week 7, week 8, Giants might not be in it, right? I mean, absolutely they could turn to the young buck, or they could turn to Jameis to try to turn things around. And there's too many mouths too many mouths to feed in the sense from a quarterback room. There's too many cooks in a kitchen, right? Because when you look at what Jameis did, dude, Jameis is a lot of fun. And a lot of times locker rooms rally around that guy. We saw it in Cleveland. We saw it at the Saints. Shit, we saw it at Tampa Bay. He's throwing for 30 touchdowns and 30 interceptions, but the team loved the dude. So for me, man, I'm completely staying away from Russell Wilson, even though he has Malik Neighbors and Jalen Hyatt, who's been balling out, and they re-signed Darius Slayton, and they got their new back with Cam Scatterbo, who's going to be splitting time with Tyrone Tracy. And honestly, they have a phenomenal defensive front. Dare I say, a top 5 defensive front. But for me, man, looking at it from a fantasy perspective, Russell Wilson's off my board. I'm not willing to take him in a super flex league and have a bench spot wasted on something like that.
I agree. There's too many quarterbacks. And this is one, there's a couple of situations. And we didn't bring it up with Geno Smith, and we should have. But they drafted a quarterback as well with Jalen Milroe.
Good point.
Yeah, very good quarterback, but I don't think
Jalen Milroe's in Seattle with
or
Sam Darnold.
In Seattle with Sam Darnold. I'm sorry, yeah.
A good call out.
Yeah, but I don't see him posing that big of a threat yet for Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold has to have the wheels completely fall off for that to be a thing. That's not the case here in New York. You got Jackson Dart breathing down his fucking neck day one. I'm telling you right now. And then you got Jameis Winston in there, saying prayers and doing his preacher thing in the locker room. But yeah, I mean, Russell Wilson, he's on a very short leash here, man. Very short leash. And you look at the talent around him, there's not a ton of it. They didn't do anything with receiver, this team. It's Malik Neighbors, and that's really it. I know Jalen Hyatt balled out. Could have been situational. It's Malik Neighbors. He's on pace to get another 175 targets again. You know what I mean? I mean, just something crazy. But if he struggles to get the ball to Malik Neighbors and there's any kind of friction there whatsoever, he's gone. I'm telling you now.
And you think about it, John, to your point, Brian Daboll's ass is on the line here. Right, he's supposed to be the QB whisperer. This is it. I'm not saying they got to come in and be a playoff team. I'm saying you got to come in here and develop Jackson Dart immediately and then get Russell Wilson going. And if that doesn't work out, either or, Daboll's ass is gone. And so for me, man, this is a huge year for not only Russell Wilson, but also the quarterback room and Brian Daboll as a whole.
Yeah. All right, man, let's move on here. We're going to move on to, let's have a little fun here. Let's dim the lights, light up a candle. Yeah, get the ayahuasca ready.
Oh, there you go.
You know,
We
get
doing
the
a
sweat
darkness
lodge
retreat?
happening. We're doing a darkness retreat
Okay.
right now, yes.
Okay.
Let's welcome Aaron Rodgers to the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Welcome.
All right, we got A-Rod. We got Aaron Rodgers leaving the Jets last year. What a shit show. Okay, believe it or not, and you're going to go over it. The numbers were actually very good last year, but the whole situation was a shit show. If I wasn't looking at the stats and I was just doing this, I go, yeah, it was a nightmare. I don't fucking want him. But it wasn't that bad. All right.
No.
All right. Well, I'll save that for you, Frankie. But he signed a 1-year deal with the Steelers here. Very surprising move. Last year, he finished as a QB 14. I think that surprises a lot of people. They think he was worse than that. Do I have to take in order to draft Aaron Rodgers?
Oh, well, I'm already taking a shit ton because this dude is definitely on my board. And I know it's crazy, guys. I know it's crazy.
Yes.
Let's go. We're going to take some ayahuasca. We're going to do some darkness retreats. Get my hair out and call me Karen fucking Rodgers, baby. Because I'm telling you, I'm on the train. I'm on the train. Here's why. Okay, when we look at the absolute disarray that was what the Jets offense was, there was a lot of injuries, a ton of injuries. Breece Hall goes down, right? Some of the receivers were banged up. I mean, I don't know if Aaron Rodgers was fully healthy to start the season as well. And so there were a lot of things that occurred, man. And then we take a big, deep breath and we realize, okay, the Jets defense also shit the bed really bad, right? It was just a mess. So what happens? He goes to the Steelers, and then what happens? George Pickens, his crazy ass, he's gone. They bring in DK Metcalf, a true receiver one, and then what do? They trade for Jonnu Smith. And what we know from Aaron Rodgers is that the dude loves his tight ends. You go back to, his days in Green Bay. You go back to when he was on the Jets early on, when he was targeting Tyler Conklin and things of that nature. John, there is absolutely viability here with the weapons that he has. And you also have Robert Woods as receiver too. And I'm putting in quotes for people that are just listening because you also have Calvin Austin, etc. But here's the big key, is that the offensive line, even though it was PFF rated kind of below average last year, I think they're going to be way better because they're younger. And also they drafted Caleb Johnson, who's an absolute mega superstar, has that ability coming out of Iowa. Again, guys, check out that rookie review talking about the running backs there. Caleb Johnson had 1,500 yards rushing in the Big Ten. That's not nothing, right? And then they also have Jaylen Warren and a phenomenal defense. So what this tells me, man, is Aaron Rodgers is in a perfect situation. There is no stress. He's already stated pretty much this is his last hurrah. And why not take a flyer on a guy? To your point, John, you put a blindfold over me, right? And you say Aaron Rodgers, I'm like, fuck you. He was terrible last year. But you start diving into the numbers. Here's what he ended up doing, guys. 3,897 passing yards, 28 touchdowns, 11 interceptions. If you're talking super flex, man, you are happier than hell to have Aaron Rodgers on your team in a super flex. So now you're saying that he has the ability to, let's say he even replicates that and he's sitting at his ECR expert consensus ranking. That's what they rank within their actual position at 28. John, the value there is insane. So for me, guys, yeah, I'm taking me some ayahuasca. I'm going to do a darkness retreat, whatever the hell. Let's smoke a doobie while we're at it. I'm drafting or targeting Aaron Rodgers this year.
I don't disagree. All right. This is a super flex play. He's not going to be your quarterback one.
Correct.
But in a super flex play or a 2 QB play, I think you could do worse. Yeah. I really do. I think his floor is going to be super high.
Yes.
I don't think he's going to give you a lot of ceiling weeks. I just don't see those 3-4 touchdown games happening all the time. I think it's going to be very, very rare. This is a run first team. This is a Mike Tomlin offense.
Yeah.
They've got 2 very good running backs. They just got, the rookie Caleb Johnson that we love, and he's going to be running between the tackles a ton. I think what Aaron Rodgers does, though, with this offense, and if we're looking at it with fantasy, I think he helps 3 guys. I think that's going to be very interesting. Obviously, DK Metcalf.
Definitely.
That's going to be super fun. I think they're going to have a great connection. I think it's really going to be kind of like the Rodgers and Adams connection of old. I really do. I think Rodgers is going to have a great time having DK Metcalf up the sideline. But I think it's going to really help Jaylen Warren. I think this brings him up my board a bit because he loves those little dinks. Those little dunks,
PPR.
Yes, yeah. And he's going to be the guy for that. So I think it really helps him. And I really like Jonnu Smith.
Same.
I really like Jonnu Smith with Aaron Rodgers throwing him the ball because there's no other receiving threats out there for that. The other guys they have, Calvin Austin, Roman Wilson, who we haven't even seen yet. He got hurt all of last year.
Bobby Trees.
Right, Bobby Trees. Bobby Trees doesn't, he's out there to get a 3rd and 4.
Yeah.
With a quick out. That's really what he's looking at doing. But these other guys are really flying down the field. So I think that leaves it wide open for Jonnu Smith in the middle there to make hay. I think they're going to run a lot of 12 and 13 personnel with Freiermuth and Jonnu Smith on the field, with Caleb Johnson in there as well, and maybe even flexing out Jaylen Warren into a slot in motion. So I think they're going to do some really cool stuff, but I think it's going to be run first. And I think the tight end is going to benefit the most.
John, question for you, right? Because we're talking 26, 27, and 28. Darnold, Geno, Rodgers. You are in a super flex league. It comes down to your opportunity. It makes sense to draft one of these guys. Out of the 3, who are you taking?
I am, and this is for your super
flex QB2.
Yeah. I think it's really close between Geno Smith and Rodgers. I really do. Because Geno Smith still has some talent around him. I would say it's probably as good or better than what Rodgers has going on with talent around him. I do think Aaron Rodgers is a better quarterback. I think he can provide a higher ceiling at times than Geno Smith can provide. It's really close. I'll probably edge Rodgers just a tad.
That's what I was going to say. I'm edging Rodgers just a tad. It's Geno and then Darn. Yeah, I was just curious.
Yep. Nope. Sounds good. All right, let's keep rolling here, baby. Let's go to the next guy here. Interesting guy for fantasy here, buddy, because he could be dog shit or he can win you a couple of weeks. I don't know what to do. Yeah, league winner as well, yeah. Justin Fields. Yeah. Justin Fields now on the Jets, leaving the Steelers, now on the Jets, and will be starting. Last year he finished QB 33, basically, not playing until after week 6, so we can't expect him to have a good finish there. Currently the quarterback 18. So this is the opposite situation as what we just had. We had guys that overperformed due to coaching and talent around them, going to a new team and they're ranked way lower. This guy underperformed last year because he was in kind of a shit show last year. And then now he's projected to be higher. So what do we do? He's right on the borderline of a QB1 in fantasy, Frankie. What are we doing with Justin Fields?
Guys, I love Justin Fields. I love Justin Fields this year. And here's why. John, you
Hang
mentioned...
on, I'll give you time to think about it.
All right, let me think about it.
Yeah.
I love him. Okay, here's the deal. So, guys, he basically did not play after week 6. John, you mentioned that. What did he do up to week 6? He was QB6. Guys, I want to repeat that. Up until week 6, Justin Fields was QB6. And that was entirely due to his rushing. Let's just call it what it is. I don't give a shit. I'd rush away, man. I want those points. And here's what he did. He had 1,100 yards passing. He had 5 passing touchdowns, 1 interception. He had 289 rushing yards and 5 rushing touchdowns in 6 weeks, pretty much. And so for me, man, when we look at, okay, he's going to the Jets, all you have to tell me is Garrett Wilson. That's all you have to say. And the reason is, guys, we saw what they did for the Buckeyes. Like, we saw the synergy that they had when they played together at Ohio State and did what they did. And then you layer on, okay, who are some of the other options? Well, it looks like Breece Hall's healthy. It looks like he's really trending. I mean, could he do something? Braylon Allen, another top-tier running back, a backup. But I really believe, based on what we saw out of him from Wisconsin years, I mean, he's absolutely a monster. And then you layer on some of the other. Yeah, totally. And then you have Mason Taylor, the tight end that they just drafted out of LSU. So for me, man, I think that what this tells me is there's not a ton of talent around him. And so what that usually means is that kind of sucks. But for a rushing quarterback, that is lighting me up, because that means he's going to be rushing a lot more out of the pocket. He's going to be looking at his first read being that of Garrett Wilson. Second read will probably be something like Mason Taylor or a check down to Breece Hall or Braylon Allen. And if nothing is there, he's breaking loose. Guys, take away the NFL actual like play and things of that nature. We're in the fantasy realm. That's freaking gold. So for me, man, I'm really excited about Justin Fields. I want to level set. He could have some weeks where it's absolute dog shit. I'm not going to say every week's going to be great, but he's also going to have those weeks where we're going to see 2 rushing touchdowns, a rushing or a passing touchdown, and maybe 200 yards. And guys, that's fantastic knowing that he's currently QB18. And again, I want to make sure I restate this. The first 6 weeks, he was QB6 in fantasy football. So for me, guys, I'm all about drafting Justin Fields. And I'll take you one further. I'm drafting Justin Fields over Aaron Rodgers. I'm drafting Justin Fields over Geno Smith, and I'm drafting Justin Fields over that of Sam Darnold as my QB2.
All right, well, let's talk about that for a second.
Okay.
I'm with you on all of those things. I love the fact that he's only really got Garrett Wilson.
Yeah.
Looking at this depth chart, there's not really any other receivers. And what that means is you could draft them as a stack.
Oh,
I think you could.
I think it's a cool stack. I think that's a fun stack.
I love the stack in a superflex.
In a superflex, yes.
Yes,
We're talking superflex.
and again, it's because we're talking about quarterback 18, quarterback
Right.
14, whatever that is. He's outside of a QB1, just barely. But in a superflex, I love that
Love
stack.
him.
Give me Garrett Wilson and give me the rushing quarterback that's going to be throwing almost exclusively to him. But you're right. Mason Taylor's there. I think that's going to help him out too, an athletic tight end. But there's not a lot of passing options. It is going to be first read, go.
Right.
And I want that from my QB2. I really do. Now, here's the thing I want to look at. Now, if you're looking at, you talked about you like him over Aaron Rodgers, you like him over Sam Darnold, Geno Smith, like we talked about. Where he's going, I'm looking at Fantasy Pros right now. Right now, he's listed there at 14. He's one spot in front of Justin Herbert. How do you feel about that?
I don't feel
like
good
that.
about that.
I don't like that at all. I really don't. I'm sorry.
No.
I know we're just getting into new faces, new places, and rookies. This is early on here. But as we start doing mock drafts, as we start talking about, getting deeper into all these fantasy players, Justin Herbert's one of the guys that I love this year. I love him this year, man. I really do. I think he's going to, he could have an MVP type season. I really believe Justin Herbert can do that. I'm absolutely taking Justin Herbert over Justin Fields. No question about it.
I agree.
Not even thinking. I'm also taking Justin Fields over Brock Purdy, who's one step ahead of him.
I agree with that. I totally agree. Justin Fields, I'm taking over Brock Purdy. Yes, correct.
All right. What about Caleb Williams?
Ooh.
Yeah. You want to talk about the opposite situation? Caleb Williams is surrounded by talent. Justin Fields is not. He's got one guy.
I'm going Caleb. And the reason I'm going Caleb is because of Ben Johnson. I'm going Caleb because of Ben Johnson, because what Ben Johnson was able to do with golf and that offense, and knowing, to your point, the Rome Odunze stuff that's coming out, that these two are literally like spending day and night together. It was kind of funny. Sidebar. It was like, there's people saying, well, what are they doing outside throwing football? Are they getting their nails painted? I thought that was hilarious. But, but they have Rome Odunze, they have DJ Moore. A plethora.
Luther Burden
that they just signed, Colston Loveland, Tyler Scott. You got Cole Kmet. DeAndre Swift, you name it. It is arguably, it could be a top 10, a top 7 offensive line now with also the acquisitions that they made. So for me, man, the tipping of the scale, even take away the talent, it's Ben Johnson. So for me, I'm going Ben Johnson there.
All right. Well, you brought up a good point, and this is an interesting question. You got Justin Fields, according to Fantasy Pros, at 14. 4 spots up at number 10, who just lost Ben Johnson, is Jared Goff. So does that same thought process work for you the opposite way? Would you take Justin Fields over Jared Goff without Ben Johnson?
God, that's so hard. So, okay, good question. It depends on how my team is created or how I've been drafting. And what I mean by that is if I have a bunch of safe type of players, let's say we go big for a top tier receiver, and then we end up going with running back, and then we get a couple other receivers, right, or quarterback, right? And now I have a really good base. I'm going to go with a ceiling play in Justin Fields, right? I want somebody who I know that's going to get me over the top, and then I'll draft a QB3. I'll get a Geno Smith. I'll try to get a Sam Darnold or something like that towards the very, very back end. But if I have a little bit of a risky team, if I'm drafting some guys that are beaten up, let's just for shits and giggles, let's say you take a guy like, I don't know, first round, let's say Saquon Barkley. And the reason why it's a little bit sketchy is because do we think he could replicate what he did? And there could be a Madden curse. And then let's say you go with a Christian McCaffrey. And then you go with a couple of the other guys that have been proven to get banged up. I need a safe guy. I need somebody that I know is going to be floor of 15 points and a ceiling of, let's just say occasionally, we know we had boner weeks, but let's just say it's 15 to 23. That is who I want from a Jared Goff perspective. So it depends on my draft strategy. It depends on what happened within the draft, but I like both options. But yes, John, you're correct. That does kind of change things a little bit for me.
No, I like that. That's exact. You should be looking at your roster construction. You don't want all guys that are home run hitters with low floors and high ceilings, because there's going to be weeks where it all comes together and they all have the low floor, so you got to be careful with that. I like that. All right, let's move on here. Let's go on to Indianapolis here. We've got Daniel Jones going from the Giants, now on the Colts. Last year he finished as QB 30. He is currently 36 QB off the board. Frankie, what are we doing with Daniel Jones? Is he going to start? And what are we doing with him?
Guys, there's a lot of things flying around Indianapolis right now. And apparently, right now, as of early mid-July, Daniel Jones is slightly edging out A-Rich, which is absolutely absurd, knowing how talented A-Rich is and how piss-poor Daniel Jones has been. Guys, let's actually dive in. So last year, yes, I know he was banged up. Yes, I know there was a lot of things that occurred. We saw Tommy DeVito. We saw Drew Lock. Saw a lot of shit kind of happen, right? But 2,000 passing yards, 8 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, 265 yards rushing, and 2 rushing touchdowns. Guys, that's not great. Signed a 1 year, $14 million deal with the Colts. So for me, man, looking at what's happening, I mean, John, I'm not touching Daniel Jones with a 10-foot pole. Do you want to talk about the shortest leash of all time? He's on it. Because, I mean, when you take Anthony Richardson at 4th overall and you've seen him perform from a rushing perspective at a high level and everything else has been kind of shitty, but could that be due to the injuries that he sustained? Could that be? There's a lot of question marks around Anthony Richardson. So what I'm getting at is if Daniel Jones does edge out A-Rich, the leash is as short as that leash could ever be. And so for me, man, I don't want that. I don't want no part of that. So I'm staying away from Daniel Jones.
Well, let me start this by saying I don't want Daniel Jones at all.
Yeah.
Anywhere near my team. I don't want him talking to my players.
I don't even want to look at it.
But what he does do is I think he helps a couple of guys here. If Daniel Jones is the starter over Anthony Richardson, I mean, it's going to help Pittman, yes, but I'm just not that excited about Michael Pittman.
I know.
On this team right now. But if it's Daniel Jones, I am excited about Josh Downs. Daniel Jones does have a big arm. Daniel Jones can get the ball down the field. I like that. I mean, I think it helps Josh Downs, and it gets me real excited about their new toy, Tyler Warren.
Yes.
I think Tyler Warren, he's also one of those guys that are sneaky, that are on my board, that I will be targeting, but I think Daniel Jones will help him. If Anthony Richardson's the quarterback of this team, I'm not touching any of these guys. No. I'm not drafting them. If I pick a guy up on the waiver wire, it's because of a good matchup or something. But yeah, it's a desperation play at that point. Richardson's quarterback, I'm staying away. I'll take Tyler Warren because I think Richardson, the 6 times he throws the ball might go to Tyler Warren,
And Jonathan Taylor.
And Jonathan Taylor, obviously, yeah. Anything else you want to talk about with Daniel Jones?
Nope. Danny Dimes, no way.
Danny Dimes is going to have to throw some dimes before we call him that again, I think. You got to earn that, brother. All right, let's head over to Cleveland, Frank. Let's go home for this one. Yeah, let's go back to our hometown here. Let's go to Cleveland. We're talking about Joe Flacco. Welcome back, baby.
Hey.
Welcome back, baby.
All right.
I can't believe we're talking about Joe Flacco again on New Faces, New Places with the Browns. Joe Flacco, the staple. I think we've done New Faces, New Places with Joe Flacco for the past 3 years.
3 years. 3 years.
Yeah, 3 years.
Yeah.
I love it, man. I love it. All right, so Joe Flacco, now on the Browns. Finished last year as QB 32. Sitting right now as QB 34. All right. We've got this Browns quarterback room. I'll start with this, and I'm going to pass it on to you, man, because this is the shittiest of shit shows I've ever seen. We got Joe Flacco, who may start. I believe right now he's considered the starter, I guess. You've got Kenny Pickett, also
another new face. Yeah.
New face and new place. We've got Shadur Sanders. And we've got, who's the other guy? What's his name?
Dylan Gabriel.
Dylan Gabriel. I can't, it's my team. And I can't even remember who they just drafted because there's 4 fucking quarterbacks. Oh, and then you got Deshaun Watson, and that's his team. It's his team, by the way, just so everyone knows. He wanted to make sure everybody knew that. Still his team. Okay. All right, so Joe Flacco, what the hell are we doing here?
Nothing, guys. There's nothing. I mean, guys, trust me. I'm in Cleveland area. Okay, this is a shit show. It's miserable. And I mean, there's rumors flying around that Shador's leading the pack. Then it's Shador's only playing against the second and third team. It's Kenny Pickett. And then his tiny ass little hands can barely hold the ball. So then people are okay, well, it's got to be Joe Flacco. We're Wacko for Flacco. It is miserable. It's a nightmare. It's not even worth drafting one of these quarterbacks right now. But here is the deal. If it is Flacco at the helm, man, this is going to be great for Judy and Tillman. And Njoku and Harold Fannin Jr. I mean, it's just going to be wonderful. If it's Pickett, it's going to be miserable. I mean, just because, and it's solely, and I'm saying this from a fantasy perspective. The reason I say it's going to be more miserable for Pickett is because he doesn't stretch the field. With Flacco, he'll throw. We saw it the year, it was 2 years ago when we were playing, when the Browns went to the playoffs, played Houston, got destroyed. But in that time period to where Flacco started, I believe he had 13 touchdowns and 6 or 8 interceptions. But what that tells me is the dude is throwing the ball down the field. And actually, Flacco was the reason that David Njoku had a career year. Flacco was actually the reason that Amari Cooper broke the single season record for the Browns for most receiving yards in a game. And that was actually against Houston as well on, I believe it was Christmas Eve. So for me, guys, I'm not take the quarterback out of this situation in terms of drafting the quarterback, but whoever is quarterback is going to be absolutely instrumental into the other teammates around. With that being said, I know we talked about on the rookie review, man. Guys, it doesn't matter who's at quarterback. Quinshon Judkins is going to get his. So be paying attention. That's a guy that you need to be drafting. And again, I still am fairly high on Judy. If you can get Judy as your flex piece, as your, receiver, not even a receiver too, it's got to be a flex. I'm really happy with that because especially if Joe Flacco's throwing or Dylan Gabriel or Shador, then they're going to push down the field. If it's Kenny Pickett, it's going to be miserable and you can at least bench him. But for me, man, I don't know. If it's Flacco, there's definitely viability for the other players.
I agree. If Joe Flacco's the starter and you're going into your draft knowing that, then I feel fine about drafting Judy or Tillman for that fact.
Yeah.
But I'm going to be watching. And they're going to lose probably their first 4 games. The schedule's just
disgusting.
Brutal. It's really, really difficult. But that means they're going to be throwing the ball down the field. A lot of downfield tosses over to Tillman and Judy.
Jude's.
Grab Judy. Watch him pop off for 3 games. Trade his ass immediately because they're going to shift quarterback to Shador or to Gabriel. So, yeah, just be smart about it. If you take these guys because Flacco started, know when to move them. Because you're going to have to at some point. No question. All right, let's move on here, Frank. Let's get to some running backs. How's that make you feel?
Let's do it. Yeah, baby. Let's get some workhorses.
That's right. Well, we got one here, man. All right, we got Najee Harris. Najee Harris leaving Pittsburgh, now with the Los Angeles Chargers, getting into that Harbaugh offense here, man. Yeah. Last year, he finished as the running back 20. So he was, low-end running back 2 for you. This year, he's sitting at 30. He's the running back 30 off the board. Little disrespect here, man. 82 is his ADP. Frankie, what are you doing with Najee here?
Guys, first off, I'm keeping him away from fireworks because apparently he's blowing off his hand or screwing up his face or something happened to where he's going to be good for season, but got a little bit banged up from 4th of July. So first thing is keeping him away from fireworks. Secondly, guys, I like him. I do. I like Najee this year. Look at what he did last year. He had over 1,000 yards rushing, 6 touchdowns, 36 receptions, and 283 receiving yards. And again, that was when he was complemented with Jaylen Warren. And so now the reason that there's some disrespect is strictly because they went out and they drafted their soon-to-be guy, Omarion Hampton, at running back. Absolutely stud dude out of UNC. Took him in the first round. You're taking a running back in the first round, you're playing that running back. But what I like about Najee, man, is that I think that there is going to be somewhat of a tandem in a Jim Harbaugh offense. When you look at what he did at the 49ers, when you look at what he did at Michigan, right? Michigan, even with Blake Corum and Donovan Edwards, and even in the last years with that of J.K. Dobbins and Gus Edwards and things of that nature, man, I don't know. I just really think that there's still value here with Najee. Now, again, if Najee is your RB2, you're not sitting real high. So Najee's got to be that RB3, spot probably. You're not going to be able to take him to RB4. He'll be off the board by that point. But if he's your RB3, you should feel pretty darn good there, because then you can take a flyer, a high ceiling play, maybe like a young buck, like a Jaden Blue or something like that for your RB4 or something on those lines. But man, I don't know. I mean, I'm not saying Najee's going to be this, a superstar by any means. I don't even think he's going to be crack the top 20 by any means. But I do kind of like him as your RB3, I think, in this type of offense.
Yeah, looking at him on Fantasy Pros here, he's the RB 34, right behind Cam Skattebo and Jaylen Warren, which is really interesting. But let's look at that. I mean, with Najee, you're sitting there. All right, you're looking at him maybe as your third running back. You're looking at some depth here. Okay, so you're looking at Najee, Cam Skattebo, Jaylen Warren, Tyrone Tracy. Where are you going there?
Me personally, I'm going Cam Skattebo. And the reason being is because I just think he has a higher propensity to probably start over that of Tyrone Tracy. Right? The dude's a stud, an absolute freak. And I think if them drafting him kind of shows like, I don't know how dead set they are in Tyrone Tracy. But after Cam Skattebo, I'm taking Najee. I'm taking Najee over the other guys.
Now, what about, let's look at this one with Najee. Let's do a little would you rather here. Najee Harris or Tony Pollard?
Tony Pollard.
Tony, without question.
Without question. Not even hesitating there.
Is that the volume?
It's the volume. It's totally the volume.
Yeah. Yeah, he's got, Tajay Spears breathing down his neck, but Tajay Spears has an established role.
No, yeah.
I think what's scary about Najee is that these aren't two guys that have two separate skill sets and two different roles. The scary part with Najee, it's not a Jaylen Warren situation, a Tajay Spears. It's not those kind of guys. This is a stud. This is a 3-down fucking workhorse that's breathing down your neck as the number 2.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what makes it scarier for me. I think you can take him as a depth piece, as your running back 3 or 4. Try to play him early, because if he starts earlier on in the season, I do think he loses a lot of snaps as the season goes on.
Yeah.
The more times they put the ball in Omarion Hampton's hands, that's going to be less carries that Najee's going to get, because every time they see him, I think they're going to fall in love with him. So I do think Najee's solid. I do think Najee's, got a very good floor, but his ceiling's capped only because of Omarion Hampton.
Yeah.
I mean, that's it. That's it. All right, let's keep moving here. Let's go to another guy who may be starting. It's a very similar situation. New face in a new place running back. He may start the season, but he's got a stud rookie breathing down his neck again here. It's J.K. Dobbins.
Yeah.
Traded from the Chargers, who Najee replaced basically. Now he's with the Denver Broncos. So last year, J.K., it was a reemergent year for him. He had just devastating injuries over the past. I feel like he's been hurt for 3 years.
Seriously.
Yeah. Finally came back, did actually look good. Ran out of gas, can't run, an 80 yards to score a touchdown. But he finished as the running back 22. I mean, that's excellent.
Huge.
I'll take that on my team. Currently, he's sitting as the running back 43. ADP of 141. What do we do with JK?
I'm all over JK. Guys, you need to be targeting JK 100%. And the reason being is I do think that it's going to be a timeshare to start. And I could see RJ Harvey take over towards the back half of the season. I could just see it. But I really think Sean Payton likes a lot of what he's seen from JK. And so when we look at what JK did last year, guys, we're talking 905 yards rushing, 9 rushing touchdowns, 32 receptions, 153 yards receiving. And again, that was him, leading the charge, but also splitting some carries with some of the other backs at the Chargers, right? And so for me, knowing that he's running back 43, guys, I'm taking JK over Najee. I mean, maybe that's a hot take. Maybe it's not. I'm taking JK over Najee Harris. I just think that the opportunity for him to come in and make a more of an immediate impact is there versus Najee, right? Having Omarion Hampton, who they drafted first round and took him. And I know the Broncos took RJ Harvey in the second round. Guys, you're talking to a huge RJ Harvey fan. I'm talking a mega fan. I am big time on board, but it's hard not to, it's hard to discredit everything that JK's done last year. And now walking into this year, I think that there's going to be enough room for both to kind of thrive. I think where we'll see JK, man, is kind of like in that RB25, RB30 range for what he'll end up for the year. And honestly, we could probably see RJ Harvey right around the same. So I'm willing to take a shot on JK once more and see how he evolves in this offense.
Yeah, I mean, you're looking at, he's going to be a guy that you're going to have in your RB2 carousel.
Yeah.
You know, you'll have a handful of running backs on your team, and it's going to be, do I start JK or do I start this guy as my RB2? I mean, that's really what you're going to be looking at. I do like J.K. Dobbins slightly better than Najee Harris.
Yep.
And the reason really is the coach.
Yep.
I know that Sean Payton loves a carousel of running backs, and he uses them. He uses them well. You can start multiple running backs in a Sean Payton offense. I don't know that that's going to be the case with Harbaugh.
Yeah.
I think Harbaugh, he'll work them both in, but I think he's going to find his guy and he's going to use them a lot. And I think that guy's going to be Omarion Hampton, not Najee Harris. Najee Harris could come in as the third down back.
Good.
After a couple of weeks, he really could. And that's not what I want my RB2 to be. That's what we're talking about, you know. All right. Anything else on JK, buddy?
No.
All right. Sounds good. Let's move on to another guy. This one was sad, brought a tear to my eye. I poured out, my champagne over the grave here. Nick Chubb. Nick Chubby.
See ya.
Yeah, Browns said goodbye. Our favorite player on the Browns, just an awesome locker room guy. He's the guy all the dads love.
Yeah.
He's the guy all the dads out there love that guy. Just
like, I want my
does
son
his
to be
job,
like him.
Runs for an 80-yard touchdown and just kind of does this. And then, that's it. Yeah. Hey, I did my job. That's what you're supposed to do. Yeah. Good job. Good job doing your job, Nick. But now Nick Chubb is with the Texans. He's going to be sitting behind Joe Mixon, which is a crazy duo,
backfield.
man. My God. All right. Last year, he finished as a running back 58. Currently, he's sitting at the running back 58. Basically undraftable. Frankie, what are we doing with Nick Chubb? How do you feel?
I'm taking a flyer on Chubb. I think you're crazy not to. Guys, I think this is one of those guys that if he comes back healthy, again, it has been a long time since Nick Chubb has been healthy. That was an awful injury, what happened to him when Minkah Fitzpatrick came and took out his knee there. And last year, he never really came back to form, but nor was really that expectation for him to, because the injury was so bad the prior season. The fact that he even saw anything last year was incredible. And the reason why the Browns had to let him go is strictly because of cap space, because of Deshaun Watson, and on top of it, it's the age. So you're looking at a back that's almost 30, coming off of another gruesome injury. I believe this is his third injury or something along those lines to that magnitude. But man, we're already seeing videos of him squatting 500 plus pounds again. We're already seeing videos of him doing crazy box jumps and crazy side jumps. Guys, this is one of those players to where you can absolutely take a flyer on him towards the middle end of your round. And the reason being because if something happens to Joe Mixon, Nick Chubb lights up top 10 guy immediately. But also, I think that this could aid with Joe Mixon a bit, keeping him a little bit more fresh. We saw Joe Mixon. I had him last year in 2 leagues. I was in a Super Bowl in 2 leagues, and it was painful in the playoffs having Joe Mixon because he ran out of gas. And so for me, man, knowing that now you have Nick Chubb to supplement that, I mean, holy hell, this could be a fun backfield. We could legitimately see a slightly similar version to what the Detroit Lions had with Sonic and Knuckles, right? Obviously, none are as flashy as Jahmyr Gibbs. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying the caliber of running back is both top tier if they are both healthy. So for me, man, I'm really excited to see Nick Chubb as a Texan. I think this is absolutely viable to take him at a running back 58 because, guys, in my opinion, there's only upside. There's no downside to taking him at running back 58.
Yeah, I mean, really the big thing I'm looking at with Nick Chubb is Joe Mixon, because that's what's going to change here with this team, bringing Nick Chubb on. it makes me a little bit nervous for Joe Mixon. I hear exactly what
Same.
you're saying about giving him rest and keeping him fresh throughout the year. So you may get better Joe Mixon as the
Towards
season
the
goes
end,
on.
yeah.
Yeah, but looking last year with Joe Mixon, he finished at 13, over 1,000 yards and 11 touchdowns. Now, this is where I think it could be detrimental to Joe Mixon with Nick Chubb. I think Chubb's going to steal some touchdowns. Yeah. Yeah, so you give me 1,000 yards and 7 touchdowns, that's a completely different. You're not ending up as the running back 13 at that point. So that could change a lot, but it's going to be interesting to see how they utilize these guys.
It is.
Yeah, but you're right. I mean, he's one of the ultimate handcuffs at the moment.
Yeah.
Because something does happen to Joe Mixon. Yeah, you got a top 15 guy without a doubt, just out of sheer volume, whether he's got it or not again. Yeah, I love it. All right, let's keep going here, man. Let's go to another guy. This guy's super confusing for me. It's kind of off my board, but I want to hear what you have to say about him here, Frank. Maybe you could change my mind.
Okay.
Talking about Javonte Williams, leaving the Denver Broncos backfield. Now he is in Dallas. At the moment, he's projected to probably start in Dallas, another weird backfield. Last year, he finished as the running back 31. This year, he's sitting at the running back 36, 109 ADP. What do we do with Javonte?
Man, this is tough. This is tough. Looking at what Javonte did last year when he should have been the sole guy, right? You remember he was in Denver. There was Audric Estime, and then there was Jalen McLaughlin, and that was it. It should be Javonte, and he didn't do well. Guys, we're talking he had 513 rushing yards, 4 touchdowns. He had 52 receptions, which is mind-blowing when you kind of think about it, and then 346 receiving yards. So Javonte was actually used quite a bit as a receiving back, which is something that we haven't seen historically from him. But here's the problem. When you look at Dallas, they have Miles Sanders, they bring on Javonte Williams, and then they draft Jaden Blue out of Texas in the 5th round. And everything that I'm hearing and seeing is, holy shit, Jaden Blue is crazy. Like, in a good way. Like, he's really balling out. Now, again, every team's trying to hype up every team. I get it. But there's something there. There's like, where there's smoke, there's fire. And so, to your point, John, Javonte makes me a little nervous because his leash is extremely short. Especially when you have Miles Sanders behind him and a rookie that is a completely different style back than both of those other guys. What this reminds me of, man, it kind of reminds me of when Javonte was in UNC. And what I mean by that is Javonte was UNC, and then also at UNC was Sony Michel. And if you remember, Sony Michel was actually taken in the 1st round to the Patriots. This is what this could be. It could end up being a Jaden Blue being that of Sony Michel, with Javonte Williams being that of Javonte back in the UNC days. But man, that's wishful thinking at best. And so what I'm getting at is I am personally willing, Javonte's not off my board. I am willing to actually draft Javonte, but I will in no way, shape, or form be expecting to start Javonte, even in my flex piece. He is a straight depth piece, and if something comes to fruition, I'm trading his ass, and then I'm going to go from there. But that's why I would be willing to draft him. It's just trade bait.
Yeah, I mean, the Dallas Cowboys rushing offense. I mean, it's not like it's a great situation and an okay player that we're putting him in. I mean, it's not a great situation.
The offensive line isn't good either.
Offensive line isn't great. They only had 6 rushing touchdowns as a team last year.
That's ridiculous.
1,700 yards rushing as a team, So Saquon had more rushing yards than the entire team of the Dallas Cowboys.
Over 2,000, right? 2,000 yards.
Exactly. Right. Yeah. So, I just don't know. I mean, the receiving from last year, the 54 receptions out of Javonte, that perks my ears up. That gives me a little bit of hope that maybe this guy could bring some value. It's not a rushing attack offense. Now that they have George Pickens and CeeDee Lamb, and you've got a solid tight end, I think they're just going to throw the ball so much. So it's a guy I'm skipping in the drafts. It really is. Unless I am super desperate and I have to have a running back just out of sheer numbers, I need a body as backup. Sure. But that's it. That's not a ringing endorsement by any means here, man. Okay, let's move on and let's keep going here. Let's get to another confusing guy. Javonte replaced this guy in Dallas. This is Rico Dowdle. Rico Dwindle? How do you say it, Frankie?
We're dwindling. We're dwindling.
Okay.
We're dowdling.
I'll dowdle you. All right, Rico Dowdle now signs with the Carolina Panthers. All right, last year Rico Dowdle was a running back 22, and he's sitting at running back 39. What do you expect from Rico and the Panthers?
Not much. And the only reason is because of Chuba, guys. I mean, when you look at what Rico did, he had a really fun year last year. He had over 1,000 yards rushing, 2 rushing touchdowns, 39 receptions, 249 receiving yards, 3 receiving touchdowns. I mean, Rico was fun. I had him on a team. But the reality is Chuba Hubbard is so good, which was, I mean, seriously shocking to me. I did not expect Chuba to continue to take that lead. He was excellent. And then they drafted Trevor Etienne in the 4th round out of Georgia. And they also still have Jonathan Brooks, but he's going to likely miss quite a bit of time, like to fully, level set expectation.
I think he's going to miss the whole season, it looks like.
But dude, I mean, honestly, I would say Rico is more off my board than Javonte is. Let me put it like that.
Definitely. Yeah. Javonte may start.
Yeah.
I mean, Javonte's probably going to start.
Yep.
And he's got Miles Sanders. I mean, there's not much there, but there's also not much there. It's the problem.
Yeah.
That's the problem. Yeah. With Rico, it's Chuba's offense.
Chuba's job.
Yeah. It's Chuba's job. Rico's going to be a change of pace guy. He and Trevor Etienne will mix in as that second spot. Not really a guy that is going to have any fantasy value, but hey, we all know what happens when you come week 10, week 15. We all know what's going on. It can be a shit show at running back. So you need to know where guys are. And if there's a capable backup, I'm not saying he's like a big fancy handcuff or anything either, but he's there. So just pay attention that he's there. You need a guy. Waiver wires will be open. Rico Dowdle will be somebody you'll be picking up at some point. All right, let's keep going. I think we have a couple more of these guys, Frankie. Let's look at, here's another guy. This guy's interesting. Elijah Mitchell. Mm-hmm. Elijah Mitchell, we remember him with the San Francisco 49ers. He was CMC's handcuff, a very good handcuff, by the way. When he had the time and he had the rock, he did a very good job in San Francisco. Now he's with the Chiefs. All right. He was injured all of last year, did not play, currently undraftable, off the board.
Yep.
Elijah Mitchell, how do you feel about him at the Chiefs? Is this a guy you can take as a handcuff situation?
No. And I say that, John, I say that because they have Isaiah Pacheco, and everything coming out of the Chiefs right now is Isaiah Pacheco's back, which is super fun. That's exciting as hell. They also have Kareem Hunt. They also drafted Brashard Smith, who's a rookie running back. So for me, man, this depth chart is extremely convoluted. I would rather go with a higher ceiling play than try to get somebody's handcuff.
Yeah, it seems to be at this point, Elijah Mitchell is kind of that break glass in case of emergency running
exactly.
back. You've got 2 injuries. You got Kareem Hunt. You got Isaiah Pacheco. Something happens to those guys. This is the waiver wire pickup of the week.
By a lot.
By a lot, yeah. All right. Speaking of, this could be the same situation. All right. We've got Raheem Mostert, and he's going from Miami. Now he's with the Raiders. Raheem Mostert will be backing up our boy, Ashton Genty here. All right. Last year finished as running back 58, and he's sitting at 83. Talk to me about Raheem Mostert. Very similar situation?
Very similar situation to Elijah Mitchell. Guys, again, I'm not willing to take Raheem Mostert at this point in time. Yes, he is pretty much the backup. He's got that pretty much locked up. But, I mean, maybe in deeper leagues, 14, 16-man leagues, you need another running back to fill out from a depth perspective. Because, again, if something happens to Ashton Genty, which, God forbid, everybody wants to see this dude light the world on fire, but then it's definitely Raheem Mostert's job, and then probably Sincere McCormick or something like that. But for me, man, in deeper leagues, sure, you can absolutely take him in your last pick or something on those lines. And a 10 to 12-man league, he's probably going to go undrafted. But John, there's one other guy, and you go ahead, hit on him for a second, because I do want to just spend 2 minutes on this dude.
Yeah, this guy, the other guys here we're talking, we're pretty much just backups and, emergency situations. But this guy could be interesting here. Jordan Mason. Yeah, Jordan Mason signed with the Vikings. We've seen him in San Francisco as well, just like Elijah Mitchell backing up CMC. Jordan Mason now with the Vikings, backing up Aaron Jones. Last year he finished as the running back 37, currently sitting at 46. What do you think about Jordan Mason?
Guys, this is a backup I am willing to take. This is somebody I am willing, because Aaron Jones is getting old. Aaron Jones also doesn't have a lot in the tank. And so for me, I think it's totally Aaron Jones' job. But man, if something happens, Jordan Mason is absolutely that guy. Now, again, John, if you don't mind pulling up the Jeff depth chart real quick, can you confirm this? They do still have Ty Chandler, correct? As a running back.
Ty Chandler's the third. Yeah.
So that could be a little sketchy, right? But I do think, man, they go out and they sign Jordan Mason to a 1-year, $5.3 million deal. That ain't nothing. So I'm actually willing to take a flyer on a last round pick and stash him, even in a 12-man league, just because the starting running back is an older guy, right? They're going to probably be a little bit more running focused, known as JJ McCarthy, who might as well be a rookie, right? Coming in because he didn't play at all his rookie year because he got hurt in one of the preseason games. So for me, yeah, Jordan Mason's interesting. I'm willing to draft this guy.
Okay. All right, couple of honorable mentions here. These will be waiver wire guys you're going to see like week 10 or so. But Miles Sanders went to the Cowboys. Kenneth Gainwell's now with the Steelers. A.J. Dillon went to the Philadelphia Eagles. And Alexander Madison is with the Miami Dolphins. All right, wrapping things up here, Frank, now with the tight ends. We got two guys we want to talk about here before we wrap up. Let's get to the first tight end. This guy I'm actually very interested in. This is a guy I want to draft. I do want to draft this guy. Evan Engram, leaving the Jacksonville Jaguars, now signs with the Denver Broncos. Currently sitting at the tight end 13, right about tight end 1 territory. This is a guy you can draft as your tight end 1. Last year finished as tight end 34, but he only played 9 games. Talk to me about Evan Engram now with the Broncos.
Guys, I love Evan Engram, John. I'm with you. I'm totally willing to wait on him for a minute and then take him after that first 2 groupings. We're talking like the George Kittles, the Trey McBrides, the Brock Bowers, right? That kind of group. And then the second group with it being kind of like the Travis Kelce still and things of that nature. Then it's the Evan Engrams. Guys, the reason being is because when we look at what he did last year in roughly only 9 games, he had 64 targets, 47 receptions, 365 receiving yards, and 1 touchdown. But here's the key. His ADOT, remember, we talked about what ADOT is, guys. If you look back at the receiver episode from New Faces and New Places, ADOT is average depth of target. So when you have an average depth of target as a tight end, at about 8, he's sitting at about 7.77 yards. That's pretty damn good. And then you look at the situation. Think back to Sean Payton and his tight ends, man. The Joker. That is what he always said. He wants that Joker-style role for his tight end. And I mean, I'm literally getting goosebumps, man, because this is that type of dude. So much so you pair him with Bo Nix. Bo Nix is his brother. Don't worry about it. Bo Nix. Then you have a top 5 offensive line, an excellent running back situation now. And you have Cortland Sutton, and you have the emergence of, right? You have Vele. Is that how you pronounce it? The other receiver on the opposite, Vele. He was a rookie last year.
Devon Vele.
Thank you, Vele. And they also now have this guy, Pat Bryant, who's a rookie coming in this year, and Marvin Mims. Guys, what I'm saying is Evan Engram absolutely could be fantastic. I mean, John, I could see him being top 7. I think top 7 range is something that's totally reasonable for Evan Engram.
Yeah, I mean, you look at actually on Fantasy Pros, because this is updating, we did our rankings maybe 2 weeks ago, and this is updating here, but Fantasy Pros has him at 8. Jonnu Smith and Evan Engram back-to-back at 8 and 9, so really interesting there. Now, right around that range, Evan Engram being in that range, you're going to be looking at this. Mark Andrews is at 7. I'm taking Evan Engram over Mark Andrews right now. I am. Jonnu Smith, Evan Engram, that's really interesting. That's
I'm taking Engram.
Yeah, I probably will too. I think mostly because, well, they're in very similar situations, to be perfectly honest with you. I really one stud receiver and a bunch of young guys running around the field, which is what you want with your tight end, because your tight end's going to get a lot more targets. A guy like Evan Engram is going to be targeted in this offense. Bo Nix looks great. That's a guy I'm targeting this year with his rushing floor. I love it. Improved offensive line, improved running game that's going to help Bo Nix. And with Bo Nix, I'll go for the stack with Evan Engram. I'm not going to go for the Cortland Sutton Bo Nix stack. I'm going to go for the Evan Engram and Bo Nix stack because I think he's going to score a shitload of touchdowns. I really, really do. I like it a lot this year, man. All right, let's move on to the next guy here. Last tight end we've got here is Jonnu Smith. So let's talk about it. Yeah. Jonnu Smith now with the Steelers, coming from Miami. Last year he finished as a tight end 4.
Wow.
4. He's currently sitting at the tight end 6. So he did get the respect of a great season, but he is on a new team now. So talk to me about Jonnu Smith, man.
Guys, I love it. I love it. When we look at what he did last year, 111 targets. Let's also remember that was with Tyreek Hill, that was with Jalen Waddle, and that was after Tua Tagovailoa got hurt for the year. And right, we had Skylar Thompson, a bunch of other trash kind of coming in and playing quarterback, honestly. And so for him to do what he did with 88 receptions, 884 receiving yards, and 8 touchdowns, I mean, dude, you now have Aaron Rodgers throwing you the ball. And I mean, my Lord. I mean, we could really see Jonnu Smith stay in the top 5 tight end range, top 6 tight end range. And I don't think anybody would blink an eye. I mean, I really don't. So for me, man, yeah, I mean, we talked about it earlier. I love Jonnu Smith this year. And if I get the opportunity, I'm taking him. But to your point, I'm taking Evan Engram over him. But I do love Jonnu Smith, man.
I do too. I mean, if you look at just fitting into the Pat Freiermuth role from last year, I mean, Freiermuth was a very startable tight end for you.
Definitely.
And you put a guy like Jonnu Smith in that spot, and it's going to be DK and it's going to be Jonnu Smith, and that's who you're going to see. I mean, those are where all of the targets are going to be going to from Aaron Rodgers. I really like Jonnu Smith this year. So are you saying Jonnu Smith over Evan Engram?
Nope. I'm saying the Engram over Jonnu Smith.
Yeah. All right. So what about Jonnu Smith or David Njoku back to back on your draft board?
Oh, God, that's so hard. I'm probably going to go Jonnu Smith, and that is really hard.
It is hard. You assume that Jonnu Smith will get more volume in Pittsburgh?
I assume that, yes.
But we also don't know what quarterback we're talking about for Njoku either.
The problem.
Is it going to be a tight end friendly quarterback? Is it going to be, I just don't know. I don't know how they're going to utilize that. So, yeah, I guess I'm taking Jonnu Smith because of those question marks around the quarterback. Yeah, no question. Jonnu Smith or Tyler Warren, who is 2 steps behind, the rookie tight end in Indianapolis.
God, that's so hard. Honestly, that's so hard. I'm leaning Tyler Warren. And I'm leaning Tyler Warren just because I think that if it's Daniel Jones, man, I think that that's perfect. I really do. I think that Tyler Warren's his guy. I mean, we talked about in the rookie review, Tyler Warren reminds me a lot of a Dallas Clark 2.0. And if that ends up coming to fruition, I mean, that's fantastic. So, yeah, it's a little bit sketchy. And yeah, it's kind of like, I know I'm taking a risk there, but I'm slightly leaning Tyler Warren over Jonnu Smith. Just for the solid fact is I'm excited to see Tyler Warren. There's really not a lot of data backing that.
All right, last one. Jonnu Smith or TJ Hawkinson at number 6?
I'm going to go TJ Hawkinson. And I'm going to take TJ Hawkinson because we have JJ McCarthy. Knowing JJ McCarthy and what we saw from him in the preseason, as well as what we saw from him in Michigan, we know that he loves that tight end. And so, yes, I know Justin Jefferson is there. I get that. I know Jordan Addison is there. But, man, when you have, again, I look at him as another rookie, right, because he didn't play last year. That is a nice comfort blanket there. Of course, again, Justin Jefferson, you can't get better other than maybe Jamar Chase. You can have that argument. But I like TJ Hawkinson this year, man.
I am taking Jonnu Smith over TJ Hawkinson.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'll tell you why. It's a veteran quarterback throwing to a veteran tight end. Both on new teams, both wanting to connect. Only other options, DK Metcalf. Versus an injury-prone TJ Hawkinson does struggle to stay on the field with basically a rookie throwing him the ball. The guy hasn't played any NFL games yet.
Yep.
That's the big difference to me. And then you've got many more, options as far as Addison and JJ. They're going to be soaking up targets from TJ Hawkinson. That's the difference why. Now, they'll probably finish within a few points of each other, I'm sure. But just based on that, I'm going with Jonnu Smith.
Okay.
All right, last guy. We just want to have a quick shout out because it's worth mentioning. Darren Waller comes off the couch out of retirement to replace Jonnu Smith in Miami. Any interest there, Frank, or is there something we should be aware of?
I think you just be aware of it. There could be something there, but again, he's literally coming off the couch out of the rap studio and starting to play. So we'll see what happens. It's interesting to see. Maybe you pick him up, maybe you don't. I'm excited to see what happens.
All right. Thank you so much, guys. That is the New Faces, New Places, wrapping that series up with quarterbacks, running backs, and tight ends. Hope we gave you some information that's going to help you out. We've got a lot more information coming, guys. This is just telling you, we went through the rookies already. Now we went through the free agents. Now we get to dig into some fun, man. Now we dig into some fun. We got, what do we have coming up, Frank?
John, we're going to be doing some mock drafts, guys. So again, we mentioned it over the last few episodes. You will start seeing some awesome mock drafts coming through. And with that being said, make sure you guys let us know what kind of strategies you want to see. Do you want to see a 2-quarterback strategy? Do you want to see a super flex? Do you want to see a 12-man league with a normal kind of setting and a full PPR? And tell us where you want to pick from. We're more than happy to do that. So guys, we're going to be doing mock drafts, dropping all the time throughout the end of the summer and leading you into your draft season. And John, we're going to be peppering some other episodes here. Maybe we'll start diving into some of these stacks. We're going to be diving into some of these top sleepers. Who are we kind of down on and up on? And it's a fan favorite, guys. We're going to be doing a couple would you rathers. We're going to be breaking down a few, and we're going to really give you insight into some really tough decisions. John, we talked about a few last year with Derrick Henry and others, and Calvin Ridley and others. And guys, we're going to be doing that once more this year, getting you ready for your drafts.
That's right. Leave the comments down below right here, guys. Right there. You see that? Yeah. Leave your comments. Tell us what you want us to do with the mock drafts. We love doing the mock drafts. All right, Frankie. Love you, brother. Everybody, thank you so much. Please subscribe, like, share. Hit that notification bell. It's going to tell you when these episodes come out. We're just dumping episodes here in the off season to get you ready for your drafts. May the fantasy gods smile upon you. Bye.